Good afternoon, and thank you for jumping on this session. I'm John Buckley, the Managing Director of Carbon Footprint, and I'm thrilled to have you here today as we take a look at the latest features of CADI, the Carbon Database Initiative. We've scheduled 30 minutes for this, and we'll try and keep to schedule, as I know you're all very busy. This gives us a chance to show off some of the new features of CADI and for you to provide us some feedback. If you have any questions, then please write them in the chat box, and we'll try and answer as many as we can in the question and answer session later. You may have noticed there was a QR code on the holding page, and it's also on this page here. So you can scan that with your phone. That takes you to a quick poll. I know some of you have already done it. If you don't have your phone with you, if you go to the chat window, you'll see a link. Scroll up and you can see a link there that Wendy put up a little bit earlier, and that takes you to the poll as well. We'll take a look at the results from the poll in just a minute. So you still have a few seconds to do it if you haven't already. So please have a quick go at doing that. For those of you that are new to CADI, it was launched at the beginning of this year with a simple goal to eliminate the barriers that companies face in disclosing their carbon emissions and setting targets. We're pleased to say that we now have over 200 carbon disclosures on the system. Unlike other platforms, which can be complex and costly, and I think a few of you will know the ones that I'm probably referring to, CADI is designed to be easy and completely free to use. We have a strong belief that companies should be able to use their limited budgets to help reduce carbon emissions rather than paying for big fees to disclose them. Today, we're excited to showcase some of the new features that make it even easier for you to upload data and manage your company's information on the platform. CADI is just part of a growing suite of initiatives and tools that we've developed as an organization, which help you manage and monitor your carbon emissions. Some of you will be familiar with our carbon calculator software tools, including the new Systrax software that I know some of your organizations are already using. Today we'll be hearing from two of my colleagues, Joel and Olivia, who will be leading the CADI demonstrations. They'll guide you through the new features and answer any questions that you may have. But before we do that, Joel, can you put up the survey results and we'll have a quick look to see what's been happening there? First question was, how aware of CADI are you? And we can see, well, some of you hadn't heard of it before, so that's good. Good to have you here and be finding out a little bit more about it. But more than half of you have already heard about it, and some of you already published your data on the system, which is great. If you scroll down a little bit, Joel, we can see question number 2. Which of the features are you aware of? The leading one in red is it's completely free to use, which is good. So we're pleased that you're aware of that. But obviously, you also seem to be aware that you can publish your company's emissions, view other companies' emissions, publish your own targets as well. So that's good. Things that people aren't so aware about is there's no grey column, which was the embed code iframe for websites. So actually now you can put your page of CADI and embed it within your own website. So we'll show you a little bit of that in a bit. Yeah, so we'll touch on some of these points in a bit. Scroll down a little bit further, Joel. So what of our features do you find most useful? So most useful, obviously, is to publish your own company's carbon emissions. So that's good to see, that's useful. And that it's free to use. Yeah, obviously that's good to know as well, and that you can share reports with others. But there's a few other features there that people haven't highlighted. Maybe it's because you're not aware of them, and hopefully we can raise some of that awareness today. Oh yeah, including integration with Systrax Lite. So we'll show a bit of that in a bit. Number 4, what features would you like to see on CADI next? So this is interesting. This is good feedback for us because it helps us decide what to prioritize in terms of the next bits of development. So benchmarking is highly rated up there, so that's good. Supply chain footprinting, okay, these are 2 bits that we are looking at developing the capability significantly in the future. So very excited about that, and that'll be something that we can show you in the future. Also, now you've highlighted embedding a free carbon calculator. We don't have a free carbon calculator carbon calculator embedded in the tool yet. But what we do have is we have a link to the Systrax carbon calculators, and that includes a link to the free version as well for small companies. And within that carbon calculator, there is a link going back the other way that allows you then to publish your data, which we'll show you in a little while. And also quite highly rated is the rating of carbon offset tool, which we have actually developed a new one of this. I wasn't aware this was in the survey, but that's probably a whole new webinar. If you go to our website, for those who are interested, carbonfootprint.com, find the offset strip of the banner on the top. There is actually a carbon offset project rating system that we've launched just a couple of weeks ago. So well worth having a look at. Scroll down a little bit further, Joel. What other carbon ESG systems initiatives do you report to? So most people have gone for none, so this is voluntary reporting, so that's good. So the platform's good for that. We can see that other people are reporting under Streamlined Energy and Carbon Reporting, SECA, and also the Carbon Disclosure Project and Science-Based Initiatives, which is good. Yeah, but yeah, Caddy is better and quicker and free. So that's all good stuff. Were there any other questions, Joel?
I think that's all the questions that are on the survey.
Superb. Well, should we crack on then and show people the Caddy system?
Okay, so this is the Carbon Database Initiative, or CADI, homepage. As you can see at the top, we've got the benefit statements here written. So the aim of CADI is to try and improve the transparency of your businesses and prove your commitment to carbon management. We believe that you won't have any issues with greenwashing claims from CADI, because we have a quote which we like to say, which is, the numbers are what the numbers are. They're not going to change. What you've emitted in the previous year is what you've emitted. It's really easy to use, and we have 3 methods of uploading data to the initiative. And the first of that involves a Microsoft form, and Liv is going to talk a bit about that.
So once you've done an assessment with us, we can upload your emissions if you give us permission to do so, and there's 2 ways to access this form. The first way is that there will be a link in your appraisal or online verification report, which will take you directly to this form. And the second way is that once your project is completed, a member of our team will be in contact with you via email, will attach this survey for you to fill out, and then we can upload your emissions for you on CADI.
Brilliant. The second method is from Systrax Lite. So here is Systrax Lite and the dashboard for that. Liv, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is our Systrax carbon footprint measurement platform, and 3 of our Systrax carbon calculators, including the 1 free tool and the 2 upgraded, are now all linked with CADI. So once you've inputted your data on the relevant tabs at the side, if you hit the analysis button to see a breakdown of your results by scope, so this provides a visual presentation of your results, which is very interactive. And once you've got a clear understanding of your results, if you head down to the bottom of the page, and then if you hit publish, it will ask for your reporting period, which you pop that in, click publish, and then your results will automatically be published for you.
And the last method of submitting your data is on the CADI platform itself. So what you're going to want to do is create an account by going to your carbon disclosure login/register. So once you've registered an account, you get approved, your account approved, and then you'll need to add a company. We've added one earlier, but we'll just demonstrate quickly how you do that. So you click the add a company button, and then you can add the company name, which the one we've got on the system is currently Hollis Incorporated. You can choose your logo, put your company number in, a web address, choose your country from the list. It should be in there. You can add your SIC codes. So this is so that we're hoping you'll be able to compare with sector averages at some point in the future. And so if you add your SIC code, hopefully you'll be able to do that. And then lastly, at the bottom, there's a place to input targets. So these are based on absolute emissions. So you set the tons of CO2e you want to reach and the date that you think you're going to reach it by. And you can do that for your short, mid and long-term targets. Once you've done that, you can hit submit. but we've already done that, so we're just going to go back. So we've added a company. To add a carbon disclosure, we will then click this button that says add a new carbon disclosure for this company. And Liv, I believe you have some data for me for this company.
Cool. So start of the reporting period, 1st of October 2022. End of the period, 30th September 2023. Scope 1 emissions, 8.8. Scope 2 location-based, 12.45.
4.5.
Scope 2 market-based, 0, because there's a renewable tariff. Scope 3 location-based, 45.25. Scope 3 market-based, 36.13.
Brilliant. And what's included within your scope 3?
The categories that we have included is category 1, 2, and 3. And 6, 7, and 8. And the emission categories that we haven't assessed this time around but are intending to in future is category 5 and 9.
And the rest, I believe, are not applicable.
Yeah, not applicable, not related to our business operations.
So you can just go through and easily change all of those. And that will demonstrate what's included within your footprint. So what about offsetting? Do you offset your emissions?
Yeah, so offset 45 tons, which is our market-based carbon footprint.
Brilliant. And there's also a place at the bottom to add a link to your report if you've got that published anywhere on your website. So if you have streamlined energy and carbon reporting, this might be to your annual report. Now at the top, we have some more information for your intensity metrics. So the employee count.
Employee count is 20. And £10.4 million turnover.
Million turnover. At the moment, the turnover doesn't get published. However, we're looking at ways to allow you to benchmark, and so obviously the intensity metrics are the best way to do that because it normalizes your emissions by these metrics. And your currency is GBP. And there are a couple more boxes here for market capitalization and number of shares. Most of you won't need this. These are for publicly trading companies. This is hopefully going to allow us to assess investment footprints at some point in the future. Lastly, there's a box for a statement or some commentary. So this will allow you to give context for your emissions. So if your emissions have gone up slightly and you want to explain why that is, if you've increased the scope since the previous years, you can add that information in. So Liv, do you have a comment in this box?
So our footprint has decreased because we've implemented a few energy saving measures such as LED lighting at our site.
Energy saving measures such as LED lighting.
Great.
Brilliant. And then once you've done that, you can hit submit and hopefully, oh, I forgot to give it a name. So this is the 2022/23 footprint, and I'll put Hollis in there just as a reference. Cool. Now we can go back to this page and it should have appeared in this box that says carbon disclosures not yet verified, not yet published. If you want to publish your footprint, you can hit the publish button. This will display exactly what will be shown on your public page. And it has a button at the top that says, it basically just gives us permission to publicly put your information on the website. So obviously make sure you've got permission from the powers that be. Then change that box to a yes and hit publish. And it looks like it's done it. So if I scroll down here, it's, yeah, you can see that we've input another couple of pieces of data for previous years. Is what we did earlier. You get some nice graphs to demonstrate how it's changed over time. As you can see, across 2021 2022, that was when they switched to a green tariff. And you can see at the bottom, there's the on-Caddy branding, which you now have the license to use because you have published on Caddy. So if you click this, it will come up with the image. You can right click on that and save it and use it in all of your marketing materials, however you like. Also at the bottom is the embed code. This will allow you to put to show your emissions on your website in the same format. It will update automatically every time you publish a footprint on Caddy. So that will look something a bit like this. And as you can see, it's got Hollis ink in here, and the most recent footprint that we put in, ending in on the 30th of September 2023, has already been uploaded into that. And you get the nice graphs at the bottom too. Cool. So if we go back to this page and go to search.
Joel, did you want to quickly show Newbury Building
I'll do that.
Societies?
That's a good idea. Forgot about that one. So just to demonstrate someone who is using the on-Caddy branding, Newbury Building Society have put it on their website, which we like to see. Brilliant. Okie dokie. So now we've gone through that. We can show you what the database looks like once things are published. As you can see, we've got over 200 disclosures there. That's from over 150 companies now. And so it's really making headway with that. Liv, did you want to talk a bit more about this?
So as Joel said, on Caddy, you also have access to the emissions of other companies. You can research the emissions of companies that are similar to yours, of a similar nature, and then you can benchmark your own results against theirs. You can also research the emissions of your suppliers. So if all of your suppliers were on Caddy, this would make Scope 3 accounting a lot easier for you. And as Joel said, currently have 213 disclosures, 150 companies on our platform, and this is ever increasing. And we'd love for you guys to publish too and show your own commitment to carbon management and responsible transparency.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. And so that what I just showed you was one of the companies which has published quite a lot of data on the system, and you could see the nice graph showing their emissions decreasing over time because they've done a lot to make that happen. Brilliant. I think that's everything we wanted to show you on the demonstration.
I'll just see if we've got any questions at all. I don't think we do at the moment, but if anyone has any questions, please pop them in the chat and we'll happily answer them for you. Questions. We did have some questions that we had pre-submitted. So one of those for one of our customers was, how do they get a verified mark on Caddy? If you're able to explain that a bit more, Joel, for us.
So the verified mark, it effectively means that we at Carbon Footprint have done a bit more due diligence into your footprint to make sure it's correct. This is where there may be cost associated with it, but you can publish on Caddy without being verified, which is absolutely fine. It just means that we're going to do a few more checks on your numbers, so it's a bit more trusted than, because obviously from Caddy Lite, or no, Sustrax Lite even, anyone can submit data onto the system.
And also I think some people have some concerns about whether year on year, if their emissions are increasing, they might be a bit hesitant to make that public. So if you've got any advice for people to keep encouraging them to upload their emissions, to be honest about what the emissions they're producing?
As I said at the beginning, the numbers are what the numbers are. You may have years where your emissions have increased, but you might have done things within that year which will actually result in decreases in the future. Alternatively, it could be what motivates you to start reducing your emissions a bit more going forwards. So you might then look at the tracking and see it's going up and think, okay, this year we're going to do a bit more to drop our emissions. We're going to install them, so solar panels or something along those lines.
Yeah. And I think it's also worth mentioning that comments box as well. So if you have increased number of sites, number of employees, just pop a bit of context on there. We've got a question from Christopher. Thank you. He says, can a supplier publish their emissions on Caddy if they haven't measured their emissions through carbon footprint?
Yes. So that's why you can submit the way we've demonstrated on here, where we went through the actual carbon database software. If you do it on there, you don't have to be assessed by carbon footprint. You won't get the verified tick, but that's like we said a second ago, it's not necessary to have that verified tick. That's just us doing a little bit extra due diligence on it.
Yeah. Cool. If anyone does come up with any other questions, my email is on the slide here. We welcome any questions that you have. We'd be delighted to answer any of them, Joel and I. So yeah, if anything springs to mind, do let us know.
I think the other thing on the verification side of things, and whether if you've had your emissions calculated elsewhere and verified elsewhere, do we still, there's a natural question of, do we still need to verify the carbon emissions on Caddy to get that verification tick? And I think the answer to that one is yes, we do, but it's kind of a light touch verification. So we'd look at the assessment that you've done, we'd have a look at the verification report, and then we'd be basically checking that the numbers that have been calculated are actually the numbers that have been put into Caddy. So that's the final bit of the verification that we would be doing to make sure that it's actually displayed correctly on the system. So I just thought I'd add that in.
Thank you. Brilliant. If there's no more questions, then I'll hand over to you, John.
Oh, there is one more actually. Is it possible to include your targets? There's a question being put up.
Yes. Yeah. So at the moment, the way we've got the targets on there is you'll be able to edit that in your company. So if you go to edit company details, you should have these boxes at the bottom that say the date that you want to reach the target, and what the target is in tons of CO2e. This might be something that we could develop further, which is a good idea, and I don't think it's on our list of survey options. So if you have that idea, fill out the survey and put that in other, and it will remind us later to develop the targets section a bit further.
Cool. Brilliant. Let's see, is there any more questions? Don't think so. We must have answered everybody's questions whilst doing the show. So thank you to Joel, and thanks to Olivia for doing that little demonstration. Yeah, great. Well, I think we're slightly ahead of time, which is good because I know you're all busy. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today and for your participation and attention throughout this webinar. I hope you found the demonstration useful and that you're excited about the possibilities that Caddy offers as we are. As the next step, we do encourage you to go ahead and log into Caddy and start uploading your emissions data and targets. We'll continue developing the system. We've heard that that you're interested in the supply chain and benchmarking features, so we'll certainly be getting on and developing those features and raising those as a priority in terms of our development list. If you have any other questions, if you've got any ideas on how you'd like to see the system develop or need any further assistance, then do feel free to reach out to us. A lot of people will already have an account manager within Carbon Footprint, so feel free to drop them an email or give them a call. And like Olivia says, she's got her email address up here, and Olivia is more than happy to help out as well, as are we all. So thank you again for your time and your engagement today, and we look forward to seeing you make the most of Caddy.